Welcome to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum. And my special guest today is Bailey Cacciatore. She is our Curator of Education here at Sharlot Hall Museum. And Bailey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Stuart.
You're very welcome, Bailey. It is a beautiful fall day here in Prescott, Arizona, in the Mile High City. How are you enjoying living up here in the mountains from your years growing up in the desert valley of Phoenix, Arizona?
I really enjoy it up here, being able to see the leaves change and enjoying the cool fall weather is just, it's my favorite time of year. So I definitely love it up here versus being in the desert.
I think that any of us who have grown up in the desert valleys of the American Southwest, it was always a treat growing up when our parents would put us in the car and drive us somewhere where it was cooler and there was the mountains and just that dramatic change. And I feel lucky every single day to be living up here in Prescott, Arizona, and amidst the pines and changing seasons. And it's been, I think the fall has been kind of slow to come here at Sharlot Hall Museum, don't you think?
I think so. I think it's a little late this year, but better late than never.
Right. I know that if anyone comes to our campus for the next few weeks before the Thanksgiving holidays, you can really enjoy walking our beautiful gardens and our arboretum and kind of as each week kind of watch the different trees change color. It's really a kaleidoscope of fall out there on our 4-acre campus.
It really is. I noticed some trees started changing leaves sooner, and so some have already shed their leaves, and some are just now starting to change. So it's a beautiful color of greens to yellows to reds.
When you're out working with students or tours of seniors that have come to the campus, and you're on campus this time of year, is there a part of campus you can't wait to watch their reaction when you walk students or families or tour groups on campus?
I would say our west side of the campus, where our living history buildings are, we have all the trees right there that are shedding their leaves, and the kids are always running on the grass and trying to stomp on the crunchy leaves to get that sound effect. And being where our pond is as well, the kids like to sit around there, and so it's just kind of a nice immersive experience for them.
Right. Despite the traffic, sometimes there are some quiet places of sincere contemplation where you can rest yourself, and some beautiful benches. We've had some new benches given to us by some generous donors that allow people just to sit back and enjoy the day, whatever the weather might be, and the beautiful flowers of the rose garden. I really enjoy walking this campus.
Yeah, there's really not a bad spot on this campus. The rose garden is still beautiful. There's still roses that are blooming. And then for me personally, I love to sit in the gazebo and just watch traffic go by, watch the people, and just enjoy the fall leaves raining down around me.
I love that. And I got to go over and see if there's still any quince on the quince tree. My mother loves quince jam or quince jelly. I don't know if you can make jam from quince. But, we've got, this is the beginning of November. This is the first Monday of November 2025. And is this your second or third fall here at Sharlot Hall Museum, Bailey?
This is my second fall.
Second fall.
Yes.
And mine as well. And it's Halloween just suddenly came out of the blue, was here. It was a big deal here in Prescott with all the houses all decorated along Mount Vernon and Park Avenue. But here we are now in November. Thanksgiving and Christmas are ahead of us, but we want to slow things down here at Sharlot Hall Museum and invite people to come back, take a step back from the hustle and bustle of the holidays and the shopping and the worries of family coming to town and, what will you cook and, when will people arrive and airline traffic and all that sort of stuff. And just take a look at our calendar online at charlottehallmuseum.org and realize that for the next 2 months, you can plan your relaxation around events here at Sharlot Hall Museum. And Bailey, you've played a large part in creating this schedule along with our Director of Development and our Visitor Service teams. We can highlight one day to anchor everybody's activities around on December 6th with this Frontier Christmas. I want to jump to that, and then we're going to kind of work our way back from the beginning of this month through the Christmas season here at Sharlot Hall Museum. Tell me about Frontier Christmas.
So, Frontier Christmas is an annual event that the Sharlot Hall Museum holds. It's always the first Saturday of December, and it takes place right after the courthouse lighting.
Okay. Which is, both of them are epic traditions here in Prescott. And they tell the people a little bit about that courthouse lighting and why we have Frontier Christmas that same day.
So the courthouse lighting, the courthouse and the plaza around it, the city of Prescott goes above and beyond to decorate with Christmas lights and decorations. And so the first Saturday of December, they hold an official lighting where communities from all over gather to watch the lights turn on, and then there's a big fireworks celebration, and then we come in right after that with our Frontier Christmas, and everyone comes over here to really be transported back in time into the territorial times and kind of the early traditions of Christmas, and they get to come to our museum and get to see it dressed up as well for Christmas, and really just get to immerse themselves in the Christmas spirit and the Christmas experience.
Right. Good reason why Prescott is known as the Christmas city here in Arizona. And my experience with that day on December 6th, it starts with a parade. Sharlot Hall Museum will be back in the parade. If no snow on the ground, we'll have Sharlot Hall's car in the parade again. And probably a very good crowd of staff and volunteers experience that in the middle of the day, followed by the courthouse lighting. And you want to get down to Prescott early that day. That's a big crowd. I mean, I'd say 5,000 people downtown. For people come from all over the state and around the region to witness the courthouse lighting and the beautiful ceremony that goes along with it. It's a really step back in time, and it is, as you say, a real setup for taking the walk down historic Gurley from the plaza, which is the historic district to Sharlot Hall Museum, where our campus is lit up with luminarias, and you can smell the hot chocolate and cider being served, and the cookies, and the traditions of family visiting with Father Christmas and our historic governor's house and our living history area of the campus. It's just really remarkable day here in Prescott.
It really is, and you're right. It's I definitely recommend people get here first thing in the morning to really take the day to explore Prescott and enjoy everything it has. And I believe they close many of the streets too for the parade and then the Christmas lighting. And then obviously we're open that evening as well.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break right there and thank our sponsors. And then we'll come right back and talk a little bit more about Frontier Christmas and everything happening between November 3rd and December 6th here at Sharlot Hall Museum. We've got a busy season on this campus.
We do.
Since 1995, Helken & Horn Ad Agency has helped local businesses stand out and succeed from print and radio to websites and social media. You see, their talented team crafts your brand's message and offers a plan to get it out into the community. Do you want results backed by 30 years of experience? Visit AZAD, that's azadagency.com, and do it today. Helken and Horn, where their slogan is "Be Known."
Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona, everybody's hometown. And this time of year, we adopt the moniker Christmas City. And my special guest today is Bailey Cacciatore. She's the Curator of Education here at the museum. And before the break, we were just talking about Frontier Christmas, our big day, December 6th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. And it's in conjunction with the downtown courthouse lighting, which is such a grand tradition here in Prescott, known around the world. It's been promoted, in publications and news organizations around the world. And we think Frontier Christmas is a great partner in that with Prescott. Bailey, we both have friends and family from out of town. would you suggest people start looking at their hotel rooms and to get on up here for the weekend and save some of their shopping for their family members for the holidays up here in Prescott that weekend?
Oh, very much so. I would say right now is the time to book any hotel or lodging stays for that weekend, or really any time, these next 2 months, and really take the time to visit our museum, our gift shop, but also the mom and pop shops that are around here too. They honestly have some great presents and gifts for the holiday season.
Right. And people can go to charlottehallmuseum.org, but also experience Prescott and the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Prescott, and Prescott.-AZ. People can go online and really kind of chart what they want to do, come up here for the weekend. Now, if you're coming up here as an adult or a family or just individually, let's talk a little bit about what you can experience when you walk on campus for Frontier Christmas. Can you go home with some decorations or some prints from the printmaking shop? Tell me a little bit about that evening here.
Oh, very much so. So when you first arrive to Sharlot Hall Museum for Frontier Christmas, you'll immediately be greeted with our historic walkways being lined with luminarias. You'll see our living history interpreters dressed up in period-accurate attire, and we have a variety of activities and things for people to do. One of our biggest draws is our print shop with our historic printing presses there, and every year we always have a new poster for people to collect, and that really has become a community tradition of people coming on campus, and the first thing they want to do is go to our print shop and get this year's Frontier Christmas poster.
Mm-hmm. And it's free for members of the museum,
yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we really encourage all our listeners to become a member of Sharlot Hall Museum. The benefits are amazing. But if you're from out of town or first time coming over to Sharlot Hall Museum, it's $5 per person. The children are free under what age?
17 and under.
17 and under. Bring the family. 17 and under are free for Frontier Christmas. And $5 for adults if you're not a member. But hey, go to charlottehallmuseum.org and become a member today. Also, I understand if you like to make Christmas decorations or shop for special items for your family, our gift shop in the Bashford House is open.
Yes.
And then you have 2 locations on campus where arts and crafts are being made for holiday decorations.
Yes, definitely. Our other big draw, I would say, is our 3D snowflake making, where you can make these giant 3D snowflake ornaments. That'll be in our Education Center auditorium. And then we like to change up the activities every year. And so this year in our West Gallery, we will be making a variety of pipe cleaner ornaments, including wreaths and candy canes as well.
How fun is that? That sounds great.
Yeah.
And perfect for all ages. And it sounds like a lot of fun. And at the same time that on campus, our gift shop will be open. And we'll have a very nice selection of special gifts for people to take home. Many of them branded Sharlot Hall, and many of them just unique gifts for all ages. We have a wonderful children's section and bookstore, as well as some really nice items we have some of our jewelry and artwork from our Prescott Indian Art Market. So some very unique gifts available at the gift shop. Well, as we're talking about Christmas, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because we have a busy November here at Sharlot Hall Museum, and probably 2 of the busiest months in our calendar. And so we're kind of going hard into the New Year's. Yep. Just this on November 1st, we just had a wonderful lecture by Brad Courtney on Doc Holliday and Kate in Prescott. When a lot of people came up to us afterwards and said, "Hey, when is Brad Courtney, the Whiskey Row historian, our local Prescott historian, when will he be back?" And I said, well, we got to talk to our staff, but he is popular and he sells out. So I think we'll probably have Brad back sometime in the new year. And then coming up on this November 8th, we have a living history adventure. So let's kind of go through the calendar chronologically here in the month of November. Living history is really spectacular. It's a really big part of our community here. we believe living history is a cornerstone of the Sharlot Hall Museum experience. And this year's theme is Give Thanks. Tell us a little bit about that.
So our November 8th Living History Adventure, it actually is our last one for the 2025 calendar year. And yeah, the theme is giving thanks. And so as with every Living History Day, we want to transport our visitors back to the territorial times of Arizona. And so visitors will on November 8th, they'll get to learn about the history of Thanksgiving in Prescott and in fall harvests as well. You know, what typically was harvested around this time and, you know, what did Thanksgiving dinners look like? It was very different from what we think of today.
Right. And do you think a lot of those pioneers actually had to go out and hunt down their Thanksgiving dinner?
They did. They had to hunt down their Thanksgiving dinner, and they had to grow and collect a lot of their own foods as well from their gardens. You know, back then, you know, mercantiles and merchant stores didn't really come up till about 10 years after Prescott was established and Arizona became a territory.
Right. So if you had some good canned peaches, this was probably, you might have saved them for your Thanksgiving meal, right?
Exactly.
Right. I'm sure beans were a good part of almost every Thanksgiving meal here in the early decades of
yes.
of Prescott. You know, foods that could be stored and then slow cooked for a wonderful family meal. That sounds really interesting. This Saturday, hopefully I'll have a chance to come by and see what's happening. I have a feeling I'm looking forward to seeing everybody dressed in their historic wear and
yes.
and celebrating how our Thanksgiving heritage here in Prescott. We also have a food drive happening on campus right now. And so there are barrels for our guests to bring in food to donate non-perishable food in both the Bashford House and the Depot. And we are going to have those barrels for non-perishable food for our guests. And if anyone who brings canned food or non-perishable food for our food drive for the local community food bank, it'll get 10% off at the gift shop. So I hope that,
nice.
Yeah, there's a coupon you'll get when you walk into either the Bashford House or a Depot. You'll get a 10% coupon off at the gift shop. Now, coming up soon after that, November 11th, Veterans Day Parade. We're a community, very large veterans population here. And we're going to take another quick break and thank our sponsors and come back and talk about our upcoming events in November.
For over 45 years, Blind Brothers Arizona has been the heart of window style in Prescott. From blinds, shutters, drapes, they will custom design and install with expert precision, tailored just to you, whether it's for your home or your office. You can trust the name that locals rely on. Visit blindbrothersarizona.com today or call them at 928-776-1845. Once again, that's 928-776-1845 for a free consultation. Blind Brothers Arizona, the original since 1979.
Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum. And my special guest today is Bailey Cacciatore. She is our Curator of Education. And we're having a great time today on November 3rd talking about upcoming events at Sharlot Hall Museum in this busy time of year. And we think that we are a great place for people to come on over and walk away from the busyness of holiday shopping and prepping for the holidays, enjoy some great activities here on campus, and join us in also celebrating our veterans at the Veterans Day Parade on November 11th, next week on Tuesday from 10:30 to 1. The Veterans Day Parade, a grand tradition here in Prescott, will take place in downtown around the plaza, and we will have an entry in that parade, including Sharlot Hall's car, and it will be driven by our favorite Sharlot Hall, Jody Drake. And so I hope people will come out and enjoy the parade and cheer and, take off their hats and really honor our veterans in our community.
I think, as you keep mentioning, Stuart, Prescott's a great way to really take a moment to kind of stop and really enjoy the moment and take in your surroundings. And, being a part of a community tradition, it's open to everyone. You don't have to be just a Prescott resident. You could be from anywhere in Arizona. You can be from anywhere in the country or the world and be a part of our community and just enjoy this day.
Right. And, the in a month in which we give thanks, the Veterans Day Parade is an opportunity for us to pause and thank our veterans in our community. And we encourage visitors from around the state and the region to come on out to Prescott. We are a great parade town. It's a great reason to be here for a long weekend and enjoy the holiday on Tuesday the 11th. But just a couple of days after that, on November 13th, we have a unique exhibit in the West Gallery here on campus. It's called "The Doctor Will See You Now, Bringing Doc and the Earps Home to Prescott." And this is a unique art exhibit we have with featuring the artwork of Western artists Bob Bosbell and Tom Ross. And both men have been very successful artists for many decades. They are very well known within the art world here in Arizona and around the world. And I've known Bob for many years. Actually, the first time I met him was in the 90s at Arizona Highways, when he was really starting to move into his career from radio into publishing about the Wild West and his illustrated life and times books on Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, Billy the Kid, and his friend Tom Ross, who's a really well-known artist from Texas, has really spent a lot of time in his career investigating and reinterpreting these Wild West and mythic characters like Doc Holliday and the Earps and their lives in Arizona and across the West, and especially a focus on Tombstone and that infamous gunfight behind the OK Corral. So I think people are going to have a chance that evening to meet Tom and Bob in person. And so we you need to register for the event. And have you, I think Bob Bell has also done some very fine art on Sharlot Hall. He did a book just a couple years ago called Hellraisers and Trailblazers, the Real Women of the Wild West. And Sharlot Hall is one of his favorite characters, as is Martha Summerhays and quite a few other women who helped develop the state of Arizona. So I hope you'll have a chance, Bailey, to attend and meet Bob and Tom. I think you'll be really impressed with their art. And right next to it in the West Gallery is an exhibit on Sharlot Hall at Orchard Ranch. Yes. And I think that's a great juxtaposition because, Sharlot was born in 1870 and she moved here in 1881, 82. Is that right?
Yes.
83. And so she moved here in a time period in which the characters that are displayed and are interpreted in this art exhibit were actually here in Arizona, and had been in Kansas beforehand. So exciting evening here at Sharlot Hall. That's from 5 to 7. You need to go to charlottehallmuseum.org to register for the event. Now, we're going to keep our busyness, activities happening for everybody. On the 15th, we've got 2 activities. Tell us about those, Bailey.
So the first is our monthly pop-up program, which is included with General Museum admission. November is Native American Heritage Month. So for our pop-up program on November 15th, we're going to be making clay pots, and we're going to be teaching museum visitors of all ages 2 different types of clay pottery. There's the pinch method, the pull and pinch method, and then there's the coil method as well. And it's really just a great way to people get hands-on, phones down, and really just find their inner artist, but also learn about the history of pottery. And it goes back thousands of years in Arizona archaeology, history, and across the world as well.
So can all ages, is it just for children, or can anyone come in here and make a little pinch pot, or try to do some clay pottery? And is that going to be in the education center?
We will actually be having it outside in our living history area. And and it's open to anyone of all ages. So whether you're a kid making a pot for the first time, or if you're an adult who's an experienced pottery maker, we want you here. We want you to be a part of it.
All right. So it looks like, though, at 2:00, there's a lecture happening that day. Do you think I should, if I come in to make a pot, I better wash my hands before I move over to the lecture hall? What's happening that afternoon? I think it looks like I might be here a lot that day.
Yes, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to be here for both programs, you might want to wash your hands afterwards using the clay. But we will be having a lecture on the history of Western films in Arizona, and especially the start here in Prescott, with our very own Stuart Rosebrook giving the lecture.
Well, that's going to be fun. I'm going to. I think we're going to pull out some interesting facts about Western filmmaking here in Prescott, Arizona. And I'm excited for this. I have given talks over the last couple of years about filmmaking in Arizona and in Prescott, but I think it's really one of my causes, if it's a cause, is to really open people's eyes to the importance of the arts in Prescott, Arizona, and how Prescott has been a leader in the arts, literature, one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional art, filmmaking, poetry. This is really a theater. This is really an art center of Arizona. And because we're the territorial capital, obviously not as old as Tucson, but from an American the American art forms that have really helped inspire people's interest in the American West. I would say Prescott is right at the heart of that community that has helped the boosters inspire people's interest to come to Arizona and to learn more about the people and the cultures of the West. Is there something you remember growing up about, Bailey, that sparked your interest from the cultural or the popular culture side of Western history that sparked you to want to know more about the West?
There were a variety of things. I'm a third generation Arizonan, and so Western history has just always been a part of who I am. And from a very young age, my mom would take me on day trips throughout Arizona, many of which included, here in downtown Prescott, and seeing these historic buildings and, learning about what it took to really build from the ground up, and really establishing Arizona as not just a territory, but we are a state, and we are a part of the American history. And I think a big part of that too, of course, is learning about the Earps and Doc Holliday, and of course the gunfight at the OK Corral, and learning their ties to being here in Prescott. And I think that's something that's just kind of a classic Western almost, that really drags you in and wants you to, you want to learn more. And so you start watching more TV shows and movies, and just trying to absorb as much information as you can.
Right. And, our natural surroundings here in Arizona have been, palettes for filmmakers,
Yes.
going back over 100 years. And we're going to really have fun talking about how, filmmakers were drawn to Arizona and its natural beauty, whether it was in the early days of silence and black and white films up to modern times as Prescott redevelops its film community. Well, we're going to take another quick break here and thank our sponsors, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the rest of November, and then some exciting events following Frontier Christmas here at Sharlot Hall Museum in December. We'll be right back on Arizona Roundup. Looking for the perfect gift? Visit the Bashford House gift shop on the grounds of Sharlot Hall Museum. No admission required, just walk right up. Explore unique, locally made treasures, a wide selection of history books, and so much more. Located in the historic Bashford House, it's the perfect stop for history buffs, gift shoppers, and curious tourists alike. Visit today and take home a gift they'll cherish. Bashford House Boutique Shop, history, gifts, and local charm. Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Sharlot Hall Museum. And my special guest today is Bailey Cacciatore. She is our Curator of Education. And we are having a great time today talking about this fun-filled and busy calendar at Sharlot Hall Museum in November and December. And, again, I will reiterate, go to our website, charlottehallmuseum.org, look at our events calendar, get these dates written down, take a break from the hustle and bustle, and come on over to our campus. I know that on November 28th and 29th and 30th, we have Black Friday, Small Business Saturday on the 29th, and Museum Store Sunday. We really recommend people come over to the historic Bashford House, where our museum store is, to make sure they reserve some time to shop here at Sharlot Hall Museum. All the proceeds benefit our mission, helping with education, especially. Mm-hmm. We do not charge for students to come to our campus. We have students that come from across Arizona, serving a lot of rural children. And we have adult tours that come from around the state, even the region, to visit the museum. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned to me in the break, Bailey, that we have another special group that we hope becomes a regular here at the museum. November 15th, who's coming to the museum?
We are going to be having some Girl Scouts visiting our museum.
Oh, that's fantastic. And now,
Yes.
Are they doing anything special? Getting a tour? They got a craft that they're doing?
Yes, so actually they're going to be kind of getting two different tours. First is going to be a behind-the-scenes tour. So the Girl Scouts will actually get to visit our collections and our archives and, really get a behind-the-scenes feel of what goes into museum work and in preservation and why preservation is important. But then they'll also get to experience a museum tour as well and get to go through our historic buildings and our exhibits and learn about the history of not just our museum, but of Prescott and Arizona.
Man, that sounds like a lot of fun. And are you encouraging groups like the Girl Scouts and Scouting America and other groups of youth to come to the museum?
Oh, very much so. We want Girl Scouts of all ages to be here, Scouting America, of course, as well. And homeschool groups are also a big component of ours. And as you noted, Stuart, we get schools from all over Arizona that visit us of all grade levels. We're not just here for the little kids. We're here for kids of all ages, even kids that are adults now.
Right.
We want to bring out the inner child in everyone.
And, I think that, and we here at Sharlot Hall Museum really believe how important that is. And we subsidize through our annual budget our school groups to come and tour at the museum. And so this is a time of giving and giving thanks. And at charlottehallmuseum.org, you not only can become a member, which we highly recommend, but you can also on Giving Tuesday, and we're right in the middle of our Giving Tuesday program, but also go online and make an annual fund donation and be generous. And to support, you can actually help us support our education programs and our mission by donating at charlottehallmuseum.org.
Yes.
This theme of giving and giving thanks is really important here at Sharlot Hall Museum. I think we give thanks every day for Sharlot Hall herself and her visionary belief in celebrating our culture and collecting it and preserving it and telling those stories. And in December, we do a lot of that. Frontier Christmas on December 6th. We're talking about how people can step back in time, bring their families, bundle up, walk the campus, enjoy an evening of back in the time of the Arizona Territory in our early years as a community, and walk through the historic buildings, many of them candlelit.
Yes.
And but soon after that, we also have something very unique that's been developed over the last 5 years, a Prescott Christmas Carol on December 11th, 5 and 7 p.m., 2 shows. Now, what is this? Can you just read the description there for us there, Bailey? It's a lot of fun.
Yes, so Prescott Christmas Carol is an old-time radio show with audience participation and an unlikely cast of local characters.
Right. Bailey, are you going to be one of the characters this year? I think I've been signed up again to join in the radio play.
No, I will be on the spectator side of things.
All right. Well, this is a great way for those who remember radio, and now with podcasts, which is kind of the new radio era, people can step back, and if they remember growing up and listening to the radio and radio shows, this is a throwback to that. We have a great local production company that helps us with a Prescott Christmas Carol, and there'll be hot chocolate and cider. But also for the next generation who have never experienced a live old-time radio show, our production company brings in all the sound and Foley effects, and it's like watching a show happen right in front of you in terms of the sound effects. And it is Prescott Christmas Carol is based on Charles Dickens' famous Christmas Carol. So bundle up and come out to Prescott's Sharlot Hall Museum on December 11th for Prescott Christmas Carol. Again, our website, charlottehallmuseum.org, is where you can go to buy your tickets for that evening. Now, I'm looking here, and these pop-up programs that you and McKenna Miller, our education coordinator, have developed this year. What is happening on December 13th? I mean, the fun does not end here at Sharlot Hall Museum in December.
No, it still keeps going. So as you've mentioned, Stuart, the holiday season comes with hustle and bustle, and it's really easy to get lost in, I got to, do all the, gift shopping and, get food and everything. And it's easy to forget that, I also need to wrap all the presents that I have. So on December 13th, we are inviting everyone to bring any presents that they have that they still haven't wrapped, and we'll give them a Victorian flair. So, we're going to have kind of, unique, historic inspired accoutrements that you can add to your gifts. And again, it's just another moment for people to take a step back and actually enjoy the holiday season.
Now, where on campus will they go for the Victorian gift wrapping?
It'll be in the Education Center auditorium. So it'll be nice and warm inside, away from the cool, brisk air. And we will have some hot chocolate and goodies as well during that pop-up program.
No, that's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday. Is that right?
Yes.
Saturday, December 13th?
Yep. And as usual with our pop-up programs, it is part of general admission. So just come to the museum. And of course, if you're a museum member, then you don't have to pay for anything. You just show up and get to do some gift wrapping.
Well, that sounds fantastic. So as we kind of wrap up our look back here, our look ahead at our January and our actually November and December events, is there anything that looking forward to in the new year that if you become a member, you'll gain a benefit on? What do we have a big year planned ahead? Is there anything you want to surprise people or talk to people about?
Well, we do have a very fun-filled and packed 2026 ahead of us. As always, we will keep continuing our lecture series each month. Living History will return in April. We've also started Living History back up at the Fort Whipple Museum as well. So you can start that this month in November as well. And then it'll continue, same with our Living History, April through November of next year. We're excited to have even more workshops as well. We started those this year, and we're going to be expanding on them even more for the 2026 year. And I think we have some fun surprises coming up too, including another 1 or 2 Victorian teas as well.
Right. I think we may be talking about getting a Victorian Society organized here in the new year.
Yes.
We have a lot of interest in that in our community. I think it would be a lot of fun. And speaking of Victorian events and a throwback in time, on January 17th, people should circle their calendar, go to our website, look for the Haciampers, and we have a special evening being held in the partnership with the Elks Theater at the historic Elks on Gurley in downtown Prescott. An event we're going to be recreating with Jody Drake as our playwright and local musicians helping with original music on January 17th, a special evening, afternoon and evening, celebrating Sharlot Hall Museum. And it will recreate an event that Sharlot Hall herself wrote and directed in 1907.
Yes.
And it's almost to the date we'll be holding this event. It's a special fundraiser for the museum. And it really, she had a vision for our museum. And it was really, it was 21 years before we opened the museum, but she was already raising money and already plotting how to start this museum. So put January 17th on your calendar for the new year to celebrate at the Haciampers, a special evening at the Elks Theater to support Sharlot Hall Museum. Well, Bailey, I look forward to you being back on the show. Thanks for being here today. And I think we've got a lot of fun and a lot of work ahead of us here in the next few weeks.
Thank you for having me. Yes, we have so much fun coming up this month and next month and into next year, too.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing your afternoon with Sharlot Hall Museum's Arizona Roundup. And we'll see you next week.